Well, good afternoon all. It's 12 noon, a little bit past, I guess. I got the AC running in the truck at work, but in the parking lot. I want to go through what's happened today. It's been all over the news now for the last 4 hours, going steady, depending on what region you're in, possibly. I know for Toronto area news, which covers millions and millions of Canadians, they're going over what Trudeau talked about. Absolutely everything I've been working on with the CCP party, Canadian Constitutionalist Party. Now, we've hit that pivotal moment where Trudeau grabs the crown and states clearly, and it's all over the news, at least in the greater Toronto area, covering 7 municipalities, 7 major municipalities, more than a third of Canada nearly is getting this news today. And that is that Crown employees specified by the Crown, sworn to the Crown, will face mandatory vaccinations. Now, Trudeau says, well, not everybody, just, this industry, health, that industry, and, Crown employees, federally anyway. So let's go through that, everybody. Let's go through what exactly that means. So every federal court in Canada, no matter where it is, all justices, all lawyers involved in those courts. So if you've ever been in family court, you can elect, or your lawyer can elect, to go to Queen's Bench or remain in the provincial level. Just in that respect, you can do that almost everywhere. So every provincial court will be mandated, because how can you have half and half? They're all sworn to the Crown too, but there's the regional divide. All military, absolutely. They've already been going through that anyway. It's going to be made mandatory. That's all Crown sworn oath employees, federally, all military staff, all of them, absolutely everyone. All chiefs, all Treaty Indian chiefs, all Indians in regards to Inuit and Métis. If you want to elect any kind of federal programs, all your chiefs will have to. All ministers, every ministry, every MP, that'll be coming. They all swear the oath. All senators, absolutely. Which then gets into the crossover. How are the provinces going to deal that with Section 92? Trudeau clearly states he's going to usurp Section 92. He's going to take away your civil rights, because you have none anyway. And I don't see one premier talking about, I don't see one Maxime Bernier, Derek Sloan, or any of them talking about. Derek Sloan's a lawyer, everybody. Doesn't say a word. In fact, I don't hear from anybody now. If John Carpe was around right now, he'd be talking about this. But he's down for the count. I have not heard one word from him. He's not returned my calls yet. I take it he's just taking his time here, as his bar is threatened, guaranteed. I would assume the man has always returned my calls, but not this time around, unfortunately, everybody. From there, we go into all prison guards, RCMP, absolutely. RCMP in Canada overlap provincial, municipal, so they will be completely blanketed across Canada. Goes on and on and on. For everybody who talks about socialism and why this video is so important, why now we see clearly, and not one person's making a big deal about this. I'm the only one who's even addressed it. Everyone keeps saying socialism, it's like communism, it's like socialism. I can tell you all right now, when you break down those Crown sworn oaths in Canada, those employed through the Crown or sworn to the Crown, making them Crown employees, you will find that 70% of the working citizens in Canada, 70-30 split. There was a time we were 48-52. That hasn't existed since the 80s. We've been sliding further and further into the socialist aspect, you could say. You can say there's measurements for that on how well the population's doing. I really want to address the massive propaganda leading up to this announcement today that basically 70% of working people in Canada will be mandated through the Crown, through their oath. This is all nurses, all public sector workers. It's coming. They say unions, well, that's public sector unions, because most of the people in those industries are sworn to the Crown through ministries. That's absolute. Doctors all swear that. Absolutely. Every lawyer in Canada. It's coming. It's coming. And then there's going to be the private sector overlap. Those who have full control over your civil rights in employment. I already know of one lawyer who's going through that now. And as of today, I'll be calling her later on to let her know the news that her employer will be able to mandate that going forward. It's going to happen because that employer, like all employers, has absolutely the power of the Crown. Don't like it? You're fired. What are you going to do about it? Now, the limited private sector, primary industries, very limited in Canada. Only 30% of us are in the primary industries. Only 30% of us. So for those 20% who don't wish to be vaccinated or who have religious grounds, you will be mandated in those industries. You watch. Forced vaccination. Completely wrong. The reason why, everybody, I focus on the First Nations as hard as I do is because that genocide is the only way, the only path, absolutely, to overstep the Crown and get into the international stage and get the international binding world laws to step in, where you will find the protections. Outside of that, for all the anti-vaxxers, the religious folks, you're enshrined in international law, but yet they crush you in the Crown because realistically, if you have not experienced a genocide provable, you are reduced to the ICJ, International Court of Justice, which is voluntary by, again, your Crown elected politicians. And I can tell you today, everybody, Justin Trudeau, Jagmeet Singh, Aaron O'Toole, Maxime Bernier do not wish to end that system. They all embrace it full well. As it appears, Derek Sloan does too, for all those falling for that narrative. As he crosses over into all of my areas now, he's going through Alberta now like a freight train into all areas of my followings. And he yet does not want to end the Crown. You all want to talk socialism. You want to talk about fighting for freedom. That will never happen as long as you embrace the Crown. As long as you go with the mandate that you don't want to address the Crown, you will be underneath it, meaning there will be no rights and freedoms. None of these false prophets will deliver you anything but a beat down. A beat down. And way more than just forced vaccinations. Way more than that. Over 30 right now that have been taken away from you in civil enshrined rights, you could call it, charter promised rights, gone forever, never ever coming back, legislated away clearly in many overlapping regions, absolutely, by the federal government. You can't win any of these things back. There's only one way, and that is following the genocide of the First Peoples through the Indian Act. It is the only way to offset the government federally and provincially, to ignore them all. We must win the ICC, though we must win the P5. Two narratives here, folks. The ICC and the P5 will do nothing for us if there's no clear genocide. And today, folks, the only clear genocide to break the Crown is the First Nations genocide with those children, absolutely. And we can right all the wrongs, all of them, absolutely everyone. It also leads well into what our party's trying to do. The only other way is to wait till an election where you can elect the CCP But that's a tall order of business, because I can tell you right now in media today, Toronto listed as the greatest city in the world, all done by UN Sustainable Development, sponsored by all the G40 country cities, G cities, the 40 cities, a UN agenda. Do you know what they remove? Your standard of living, your cost of living, all these economic markers that no nation in the world goes without, to get Toronto and several other of these UN agenda cities to be listed as the top 10 cities in the world. Of course, crown cities are right in the top 10. Do you know what the markers are? Political stability, meaning crown powered, zero democracy, 100% autocratic cities. Not an American city listed there, folks. Not an American city listed. All the cities listed have an astronomical divide in the haves and the have-nots. People in disease, crappiest healthcare ranked. But yet they tell you, oh no, it's not true, because they change the markers. They go with sustainable development goals. The cities with the most environmentalism, but the highest rates of poverty. It's pathetic. Standard living out the window, the rising cost of living out the window, and then they remove work, unemployment, which unemployment you never remove in economic markers for great cities. You never remove that. They remove that. Complete propaganda. Super high unemployment cities. Oh sure, they put in employment, but those government positions, 9 to 5, ladies and gentlemen. 9 to 5 work. How many of you work 9 to 5? Well, sure, the government, yeah. Public sector workforces. They don't put in anything to do with economic markers in respect to cities who are borrowing astronomical sums. They don't put that in there. All the cities you look at economically, they're in dire straits right now. Toronto wins, #1 city in the world, they say. UN Sustainable Development led it. Written by none other than Trudeau and his corrupt cronies and all the autocrats in the world. All thumbs up for the crown. That's what we got today. That is the astronomical propaganda today, folks. This video's got to be shared. It's real, it's verifiable. Trudeau announced it today. It's coming forward. It's all over the news in Toronto and in all the major area Toronto municipalities. We're talking almost 12,000 Canadians, or sorry, 12 million Canadians heard that news today. It's probably likely to be the full 16. I don't know if all of rural Ontario will get it, but at those kind of numbers, that's heavy duty. Heavy duty. That's a massive portion of the Canadian population. Pretty scary stuff. How do you defeat that? When every party's involved in it, the supposed freedom fighters say not a word. People talk about religious freedom, anti-vax. The only one truly fighting for you right now today is myself and everyone involved with the CCP party. I'm sorry, I'm pretty upset today. It was a monumental amount of propaganda forced through all the radio waves on every major news station, at least in all the major 14 municipalities of Ontario. Scary stuff. Just alone where I'm at right now, 6 million. 6 million through radio, TV, and news. How do you compete with that? How do you fight that? And then they tell you that's the greatest city, and so many people will believe that, even though all the economic markers point the other direction. Straight down, straight to hell we're going, in a handbag, with no ability to pay, slaving the future generation. They remove all economic markers by all of the G20, even the G20. They'll tell you that is the worst markers to place on a city. But who's to stop them? That's the crown, that's the power, and forced vaccinations. Oh, it's no big deal. It's just, crown employees. 70% of the working people in Canada. Unbelievable. Share if you're not a cuck. Share if you believe in the truth. Share if you want to see change. Or do not go to rallies. Yeah, champion this politician, that politician. Oh, that's great. That's wonderful. I love being lied to. But I guarantee you, I'll build this, I'll finish it, and we'll see where we end up. But all I know is, come 2023, post that. If this is where Canada is going to remain and there's no breaking the crown and people of Canada will not wake up, I'm going to look at the last 20 years of my life and I am not going to spend it here. I will finish my life in a country I know my last move will be. And we'll see. We'll see. You know, I hate to be down, but what a blow today. And nobody's sharing. Nobody. Where's Maxime Bernier? Where's Derek Sloan? Where's all the religious leaders they claim to be? Where's all the First Nation chiefs with the crown in bed, taking the money, screwing all of you over? And it's not sustainable, not even close. Vaccines forced this way, that's just the tip of the iceberg. And again, everybody, I promise you, there is only one way to defeat this. Two agendas. You go international criminal court. That means the children's genocide First Peoples, the only one we can clearly defeat the crown. That's ICC, International Criminal Court. The only case available to us. All narratives aside, but we can fix all of that just with this one win. Can stop the crown. P5 is the other, and then absolutely winning a minority government with the CCP, Canadian Constitutionalist Party, the only one. I urge all of you, reach out, talk to all these other parties. Where's Maxime Bernier? Where's Derek Sloan? Oh, no, we don't want to address the crown, never mind. Because I promise all of you, especially you anti-vaxxers, those religious folks, you will be forced in that 70% industry. You will be forced. And there is only one man truly fighting for you. Whether you like all the narratives, whether everybody second guesses me, I have a vision, I have a plan. 4 years in the work, the only one of my kind out there. Only one. There were a few out there, but they're getting crushed fast. John Carpe being one of them. I don't know. It's getting scary, folks. Getting scary. I won't quit. I'll see it through. Again, next month, New Brunswick. Off to Quebec and New Brunswick, going to get that done, absolutely. Then it's 3 left after that. That's my video today. Share because it's the right thing to do. Share because it has to be shared. And remember, all parties are partisan. All MPs, all senators partisan. No such thing as left and right, as I've always told you. And you can go on the news today, it's been running steady. Crown corporations, anyone sworn to the crown, sworn to Justin Trudeau or any of the other elected autocrats. No such thing as conservative, liberal, NDP, People's Party, Green Party. It goes on and on and on. Even the Bloc in Quebec. That's my video, everybody. Share, share, share.